Hi, this is Cooper Crowell, and this is my observing video introduction as requirements of the Lamar Teachers Education Master's Program. I chose to do the observation video that includes to look at one or more of your colleagues' classrooms through the lens of administrator. I chose to look at only one classroom. The teacher's name in there is Eric Edwards. He is a 6-year teacher who already has his master's. Eric teaches 5 classes that are MMA, which deal with kids who have already either taken algebra and failed, or kids who have been kind of selected as kids who struggle in mathematics already and have been placed in his classroom. So he deals with kids that are struggling or need a little extra help and have been placed in his class to try to get knowledge that he needs. In his class, he had students, a student breakdown that looked like 12 males, 14 females. 86% of his classroom is white. He had 10% was African American, 4% was Hispanic, 4% as Asian, and then as I observed was 2% Pacific Islanders. As I talked to Eric before I entered his class, he kind of gave me the rundown of what they would hit for the day. He talked how they were going to, as a whole, look at orders of operations, which is basically working through math problems that have multiple solutions, multiple symbols, and the orders that you're supposed to approach that with. I kind of talked with him, and he kind of said this is something that not a lot of students seem to struggle with. They pick it up very quickly, whether they're advanced kids or kids that maybe need a little extra help or struggle. So he said that this is something they pick up pretty quick. Normally it's not something they have to go back and reteach, but they do put a point of focus on this because it's a major learning block for that classroom. Kind of the rundown of his class that he gave me what's going to happen is normally he says he comes in every day, and kind of their bell ringer is they get 4 or 5 minutes to work on any work that they may have worked on from the previous day. He said he really likes to do this for a couple reasons. One, it kind of lets him have some time for administration duties within his classroom, or dealing with attendance, or passing out papers, or just anything that he may need to talk to them quickly for a little bit while kids are working on this. He said it really kind of gets them back in the sense of we're about to come into class, we're needing to get to work, and it kind of refreshes them on what they did from the previous day. So he says he always likes to do that every day in his class, just kind of, especially in math, when it builds upon itself, he really likes to make it where they're going to, oh yeah, this is what we worked on yesterday, here's what happened, and then they can kind of take off from whatever they're learning on for that day. He said in class, once they hit to the main part of orders of operation, he's going to get up and he's going to lecture on ways to work through these problems. The technology he said he actually uses in his classroom is basically a projector, and he has an iPad which hooks up to his projector. He has problems that are basically in PDF form that are already from works that his students will already work on, or copies that he will give to them. He'll give them those problems, and then he will actually work through the problems on his iPad, and the projector puts it up on the screen for all to see, so you don't have to move around or get out of people's way and stuff like that, which is really cool. After he lectures, he's going to give them some practice problems to work on. Their desks are actually grouped together in, most of them are 2, some are 3 in the back, and let them work on those in smaller groups for the problems that take place. So he kind of set it up with the differentiation of instruction. He's going to come in, he's going to let them, obviously they're doing single or individual work at the beginning of class, the bell ringer portion to get that going. He's going to go into a listening and visual focus time during the lecture, and then in his problem solving or practice problems, they're going to be in a smaller group setting. So kind of 3 different ways that he's going to make sure he's going to differentiate his instructions. And one thing, his main strategy as far as making sure students are engaged. As he, with the technology that he has, he doesn't have to be right at the board. He's going to constantly be walking around, asking questions. The technology in the classroom is really going to allow him to make sure students are engaged just by proximity of them, asking questions if he feels like they aren't engaged, making sure there's a lot of wait time and people are actually having to think through these problems, calling students out by name, just trying to make the class kind of exciting and fun. He's a kind of a charismatic guy, which really helps student engagement, because he's really a guy that, when he's talking, you realize he's not just talking a subject, he's talking and really trying to educate kids and can really have a real passion for kids, so he's going to connect it that way. So we're going to observe Coach Edwards' class. Just to break down again, he's going to go over orders of operation, and it should be exciting.
Told you I gave you some extra time. We're going to grade 2 assignments. One's going to be completion because everybody's going to be different. Man, you throw that shit up there, everybody's going to be different. It was where we had our squares. You wrote the equation on one. You wrote the answer on the other. The other one that we will grade. The other one that we will grade will be the fewer cookies and more chili. Fractions. Multiply by 11 over 2, multiply by 1/4. I'm going to give you a couple minutes. I'll tell you what. You're a nice guy. I love you guys. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. You need to finish some of those up. You're close to being done. You need to finish those to work. Finish those. I'm going to take roll. And in 5 minutes, we will grade these suckers. All right? Any questions about what's going on right now? Everybody, any questions about what we're going to grade first? Besides that, just so you guys know what today has in store, easy day. We're going to review order of operations. Please excuse my dinner and salad. Got it. We're going to review order of operations. You'll have a quick assignment that will literally look exactly like the notes. So like I'm talking easy money. 5 minutes on your time right now. We'll get back together in a second.
This is so it's a mix. They've already had it in the middle and failed, or they did not do well in algebra. Some of them failed algebra 1 in algebra 1 and this class. Math models with applications. I always like to give them, I try to give them more than one day to do their stuff. So there should be an excuse for not having it.
Just stuff they did on Friday.
They added it. I think they added it.
That's the same one.
Rajay's here. Reagan. Sam. Sam is both here. Brazier's here. Keys here. Destiny's here. Miss Caldwell is here. Mr. Hunter's here. He's in this mention. Stilio's here. Mr. Duff is here. Caleb's here. Miss Gage is here. Eric. How Eric today? Miss J. Jay's here. Okay. Jeremiah's here. Frank's here. Tommy's here. Miss Megan. Here. Mr. Porter is here. Shaw. Mother Sam. Kia. Vaughn. Miss Turner. Kristen. Chris. And Breezy. All right. All right. I would love to have it. Okay, you guys ready?
Yes.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, look down. Let's look at the chili. 50 more chili. 50 more chili.
Look at it.
You need to bring it to me ASAP. Remember, late work is late work, but bring it to me. That's starting off on shaky ground. You know how the man that built his house on the sand? He's doing right now. He's building a house on the sand. All right, chili. Name on it. Name on it. Is your name on it?
Yes.
Right there at the top. Go through right now. If you have another color or another, I have markers. I moved the markers from back there to like right here. So staplers, pencils, color pencils, tape, hole punch is all right there for you. Notice, got calculators put up. Chris, you're my calculator man. So we can't leave here until all our calculators are back. Here we go, look. See how the top two rows are doubled up? Yes. Top two rows doubled up. And then the next row, the third row down, they have two doubled up. If all of them are there, then we're good to go. If there's something missing, nobody leaves. Chris, you're my man. I'm going to say, Chris, we good? Check. Got it? Cool. You're the man. Appreciate you. You did a good job. Got a little responsibility now. Okay, back to the grading. Chili. You have another color. Go through right now and put a slash over anyone that you did not do. Need about 5 seconds. Okay, now flip your page over. Now you should be looking at cookies. Baking fewer cookies. Mark anyone you do not do. Flip it back over to chili. Double check and make sure your name is on it. Pass those this way. I'm going to look through there. I'll double check you. We'll pass them back tomorrow. Just keep on passing. I want them all okay. You're going to give you about 10 more seconds to get those passed over.
It's like there, but it's not there. You know what I'm putting down here?
Miss Jackson, Miss Caldwell, when y'all get those, y'all pass them up here. Yvonne, you'll have all of them. Now, our order of operations, not squares, but rectangles. You unstapled them earlier. You need to staple them back. Come staple them back together. That's fine. Just do that right now. Yeah, one of them should have all your solutions. One of them should have your personal equations. Whatever you put on there.
Your shoes are really
You staple those back, staple those back. I'm going to give us about 10 more seconds to get those stapled back.
I left my jewelry being so now I'm not going to see my dad anymore.
You don't listen to me. I tell you things and you don't listen.
Okay, that was about 10 seconds. We'll go on 10 seconds now. Put your name. On the top of your page, put your name. Everybody do that right now. Put your name. Go through any square that you don't have filled in. Anything that's not completed, anything not filled in, put a mark. If you have it all filled in, put your name, make sure your name is on it, make sure it's stapled, pass it over. Pass it over. And then once you pass it over, go ahead and get your notes ready. We're going to roll through some notes pretty quick. Get on the assignment, finish the assignment today in class. No homework tonight if you take care of your business. Deal? Shop. Please be aware of your surroundings. You got much
I gave the other one to Coach Brown.
Perfect. All right. Sweet. You guys over here. You did a good job. Good job. Appreciate it. All right. Notes. Everybody got the notes out from?
Yes, sir.
Yep, they're good. Hey, you'll see at times the assignment notes will look a lot alike because you'll use the notes on the assignments. So you like to keep those looking very similar. Just know it says notes. On the top of the page it says notes. Everybody see notes? All right. I'm going to project it. I still don't have my iPad hooked up yet, but I am going to project it. It's pretty small, isn't it? Other one. Can everybody see? Everybody can see, right? We're good. That works.
The other one makes me sleepy.
There you go.
Like one's on and one's
Is that big enough? You guys in the back, can y'all see those? Can y'all see those in the back? Jacob, you guys see them? A little bigger? We're going to go 125 then. Okay, we for sure can see that. Now, okay, y'all ready for this?
Yes.
Let's be efficient. I want to be efficient when we take notes. That way it doesn't draw out forever. And I don't sit there like talking. Because the more I talk, the more I lose you. So stay with me. Let's get this done. Have a little enthusiasm. If you get sleepy, I know how you feel. Go stand your tail up back in the back. Get right on the wall. Right. It's not on the wall, but on your paper. You know what I'm saying. Okay. All right, here we go. Order of operations. First thing. Thank you. Thank you. Parentheses. Then, if there's no parentheses, we look for what? Exponents. Exponents. Okay? So we got parentheses. That's all I put on my paper. Then you look for
exponents.
Exponents. Now, we look for multiplication, we look for division. When you get to that step, you always work it left to right. You want to draw an arrow like that? That's what I've done on my paper. You always work that left to right at that point. Then the last thing we'll look for is addition and subtraction. And when you get to addition and subtraction, you look for it left to right. You don't do addition first and then do subtraction. Once you get down, that's all you have is adding and subtracting. Then you work the problem left to right. Everybody good with that? And y'all know that, just refreshing again. Okay, I'm erasing that now. Moving on. Now, y'all do it. Number one, I'm going to read the instructions. Circle the one that has worked correctly using the order of operations. Explain why the answer is wrong. So look at the 2. Look at the 2. You're going to circle the one that is correct. And then tell me why the one that is not correct. Why is it not correct? Raise your hand if you think this is the correct answer. I agree with everybody, so everybody agrees this is correct. Why is this one not correct?
Because they got it first.
Shame, shame, shame. Don't do that. Multiply first, then you add your 2. All right? Let me scroll down here. Oh my, and over. Number 2 and number 3. This one or this one? Look at it. I'm going to give you a minute. Can you try to on your paper? It's the same. Can you get on your paper? Which one's correct? Which one's correct?
The second one.
The second one. What's the first thing you have to do here?
Divide.
You have to divide. You have to divide. All right.
Because think about it, they didn't divide them.
What happened here? What did they do wrong?
They didn't like.
Do what? See what they did? They did 100 divided by 10. They did 20 divided by 2. I mean, come on, seriously. I mean, let's go.
Okay.
Everybody see? Everybody good? This is your correct one. Shove this one circled. Shove this one circled. All right, number 3, last one right here. Last one. Some of you guys already jumped ahead. I know. How many of you guys think it's this one? Okay, that one. Correct. All good. That is the correct one. What did it not do right here? It didn't do the parentheses. It didn't what? What's that called? Wait, I heard it.
Distribute.
Thank you. Distribute. It did not distribute. Shame. Shame. Shame, shame, shame. All right, here we go. I'm going to give you a formula so you don't have to use the formula chart. But we need the formula for the perimeter rectangle. Here's your formula on your paper. Perimeter equals 2 times length plus width. That's on your formula chart. We're going to break this thing down, and then we're going to solve the equation. It tells me a rectangle has the width of 3 centimeters, and it has a length of 7. What's the perimeter? Variables. What are the variables in here? There's a P, an L, W. Perimeter. Do we know what the perimeter is?
No.
Well, not yet, we don't. Does it give it to us in the question?
No.
No. Length, does it give it to us in the question?
7.
Width, does it give it to us in the question?
3.
Wait, I switched those, didn't I? I switched those. Come on, Coach Jones, what are we doing? What are we doing? All right, we have everything. Now, what do we need to do? Plug them in. Do we know what P is?
No.
No, not yet. 2 times. What's L? 7. What's width? 3. Order of operations, guys. Order of operations. 7 plus 3 is 10. 10 times 2, 20. Perimeter equals 20. So we solved it. We solved it. In this case, it was centimeters. There we go. Everybody good there? We're about to do on your assignment. It's that easy. I'm going to erase this. Everybody good?
Yes.
Same formula. Same formula. Right up again. Same formula. Variables. This time, do we know the perimeter? It says a rectangle has a width of 8 and a perimeter of 28. Perimeter is 28. We know it. Length doesn't tell us. Width of 8. Okay, we are looking for, it says find the length, so we don't know what the length is. We're looking for what is the length. Let's plug in. We've got 28 equals 2 times length, don't know it, plus 8. Ooh. Now, Mr. Brazier, what do we have to do first? Now, that set up. What's the first thing you do? What's the order of operations? What are you going to do? You're going to try to add these. If that was the number, yes, we would add them. But it's a variable. We don't know what it is, so we can't add them. There's a couple different ways. Well, there's a couple different ways we can solve this. The way my mind's wired, I see this with the parentheses, and I say, "Hey, distribute now." The other thing you could do is divide this by 2 and divide this by 2, so your 2's canceled. So there's y'all will see in math, there's more than one way to get the right solution. I'm going to distribute. 2 times L is 2L. 2 times 8 is, that equals 28. Now this is like something we can work with. Let's subtract the 16. Those are gone. 28 minus 16 is what? 12 equals 2L. We're done. Wait. We're not done. What do we got to do? Yeah. Those people talking over there. 12 divided by 2. Solve for L. Solve for L. Everybody feeling that? You know what steps we took? I'm going to give you about 10 more seconds. I'm going to erase that and scroll down. Any questions right there? Y'all feel good about that? We can do that, right? We can do that. You're gonna do it on the assignment, so great. All right, erase this. Next formula. Let's see it. I bet y'all don't remember this formula.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so we're looking for area of a trapezoid. Area equals 1/2 times base 1 plus base 2 times I. Variables. Area, base 1, base 2, height. Find the area, so we don't know the area. What is base 1? Trapezoid has base 1 of 2, base 2 of 7, and a height of 2 2/3. Now let me tell you something. 2 2/3, that's all great. You're going to have to multiply, you're going to have to add, you're going to have to do things to it. We don't work with these mixed fractions. So let's go ahead right now, precursor. Let's turn this thing, just like we did the other day, let's turn this into an improper fraction. 2 times 3, 6 plus 2, that equals 8 over 3. Okay, now we can work. Now we can do some work. We're looking for, what do we not know? Not write that in the wrong place. Yeah, I don't know that. Area we don't know, so we're looking for area. Let's set it up. Equals 1/2 times 2 plus 7 times 8 over 3. You guys turn the lights out, I'm going to start falling asleep on me. I'm teaching class, I'm about to start falling asleep on me. Not letting me care. Okay, here we go. First things first, we got parentheses. We got 8. Roger, we got anything missing here? Can we do this?
Yep, you could do that.
All right, so let's go 2 plus 7.
9.
That's a 9. Did I hear a 9? 8 over 3, okay. 8 over 3. Now, again, hey, you can do this, you know. 9 over 1, same thing as 9. You can do that. That helps you. So as I'm looking at this, is there anything we can cross cancel out? There's a 2 and an 8. Or, hey, let me do this to you.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Is this the same? It's the same, right?
Yeah, you just,
It's the same thing. What do you see, the 2 and the 8?
yeah,
What happens to those?
1,
Those can cancel out. That becomes a 1. That becomes a...
4.
You didn't see what I just did? I lose you there? I lost you. Okay, you good? You good with what we did? We added these. We got 9. And all I did was I wrote it like that, but it's the same. I can put multiplication. 1 times 2 times 3 is the same as 3 times 2 times 1. You can move those around. It's the same thing. So I just to make it easier to look at, I just moved that to this side and showed you that we're cross canceling right now. So 2 goes into 8 4 times. So 4. Now, is there anything else?
Oh,
3 and 9. Y'all see it?
yeah.
Remember, that was just a 9. And I said, guys, 9 is the same as 9 over 1. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. 3 and 9, those cancel out. 1, and how many times is 3 going to 9?
3.
3. So on the bottom we have 1 times 1 times 1. What's on the bottom?
1.
1. 4 times 1 times 3. 12. 12 over the 1 is the same thing as what?
12.
Area equals 12. Area equals 12. Everybody good there?
Yes.
I'll tell you what, skip 7. Go to the back page. Let's wrap this up. Let's get going so we can finish on one. So it doesn't become homework. It's a little hard to erase. Last page, here we go. I'm just going to tell you, number 7, we were going to do the same thing. We would have been missing another variable. We would have solved it the same way, though. Solved the same way. All right, here we go. There's your formula. There's the first few steps. It says complete the next step. So basically, you do this, you do this. What's the next thing you got to do?
Subtract the 20.
You don't have to solve the whole problem. Just write down the next step.
Oh.
Give you about 34 seconds.
She said,
Like that was an adequate amount of time. So they plugged it in. They distributed the 2. What do you got to do next? What's the next single step?
I subtracted the 20.
Go on, tell them, what's the next step?
Subtract the 20. From
Subtract the 20. So the next step was to subtract 20. Which that becomes 38 equals 2L. That's it. All right, moving on. Use the same thing we talked about a second ago. Get the trapezoid, find, here's the formula, find the area. It says plug these in. Let me scroll up real quick here so you can see the whole deal. Now, I want you to write, we're going to do it together. What we're going to do here, we're going to write out what's happening. What did they do? So how did it go from this formula to this right here? All it did was
plug in the variables.
plug in. That a little nicer word right there might be substitute in. Substitute and plugged it in. So I'm going to put sub values in. I abbreviate, guys. Just if you don't understand what my abbreviations means, then just ask. But that substitute the values in, sub them in. What's the next thing it did right here? It did the parentheses. So I put added the 5 to the 3. And over here I put a P for parentheses. It did the parentheses. Did the parentheses. Okay. Now, how did it go from 1/2 times 8 times 6 to 1 times 4 times 6? Say it again.
Oh, you divided the 8 by 1/2.
Yep. You can put divided the 8 by the 1/2. You can put multiplied the 8 by 1/2. You can put it cross cancel them out like we just did a while ago. Any of that would work. I put it cross cancel. Cross cancel. Makes me think can jam. Can jam. Y'all, everybody ever play can jam? Hardy has. Hardy's actually pretty good at it.
What is can jam?
Did we play that at
We'll get, you know what, don't worry about it. Is you throw a frisbee at a little trash can looking thing, and that's
There's
freaking
a
awesome.
reason why I have
It's awesome. Alright, hey, last step, what did it do? Let's call it, what did it do, last thing? Multiplied, it solved, it multiplied. Multiplied. You can write it all out if you want, abbreviate, makes sense. You'll learn one of the days you go to college, which you don't need to go to college. Some way you need to go take classes, even go to trade school, or get associate, go to college. Continue your education. You're gonna learn when you take notes. Sometimes you might not write the whole thing out. You gotta learn to abbreviate. Be short and sweet with it. Be short and sweet. All right. That's it, guys. We're done with you. We're not gonna do the last one. We're not gonna do the last one. I think y'all get it. The last one, line 3 on the last one is the incorrect step. Now, your assignment looks identical almost. That's kind of fancy. Too fancy. Your assignment looks almost identical to your notes. Use your assignment. Use your notes on your assignment. I'm going to turn the lights back on. If you need help, let me help you. It's 10:04. What time we got here? 21. Don't even start that. You got a lot of time? Let's knock this out. Work together. If you finish it in class, you don't have homework. You don't have to worry about it. Get it done in class. All right, do it. Your time is right now. This is your time.
I'm just mad. I want to go to Spanish school. I know.
Can jam, huh? Can jam.
Huh? Are they going for like a day? No. If I said you can't just go to New York and skip all the different places. What? I don't know how to do that.
I'm not gonna help her.
Hey guys, y'all look back. I did a little, some moving things around. Y'all are second period, right? This second period.
Yeah.
This is y'all's shelf. So if you get a folder, you get something, you want to keep it, keep your notes in. Hey, you probably should just take it home. But if you ever just want to leave it here, we don't have homework, or you're done with everything, you finish. Because I'm telling you, I want you to finish in class. That's why I try to get things done so we can finish our things in class. If you're done with it, you don't want to risk losing it, you can put your stuff right here. You can put your folder up here. Y'all with me? Okay, where's y'all see it? It's even got a little tab right here. That's right. Color coordinated. Alright? Color coordinated. And it says second on there. That's y'all's.
Day 2.
It's y'all's shelf. Sometimes when I pass papers back, I might put stacks of papers back there for you. Alright, let's get busy. Let's knock this out. Let me know if you need some help. Just shoot your hand up while we come around. We're making some rounds.
Oh yeah, you showed me that.
You guys on hold?
Yeah. I'm so mad. On Thursday, Roddy was so they wouldn't be there. Oh, I'm so mad. Roddy was so much fun though.
I'll put some music on.
I don't know why. It's just, I'm upset because they didn't design it.
Who's going to log into that? No clue.
What? I'm so glad I didn't watch the video as well today.
Oh my. That was really loud.
I'll vote for him. Boy, reach me.
That's your classroom playlist? You make that yourself, or is there a...
I just took out any bad word words, basically.
Well, where'd you find that out?
I made it. I just went through and anything that had a bad word, I took it out. It's like a little inspiration.
Yeah. You share a playlist with people? You share a playlist with somebody?
Yep, if you have Spotify.
Why don't you share it with me?
Share.
I've probably moved to Argentina for 4 years of my life. Come back. I'll move to take me with you. I'm out. Not too good, Mom. I'm not too good.
Yeah, but I bet I'm not logged in on Facebook though. I'll figure it out later. I'll see the message.
Anybody need help? Out right now too, guys, just FYI, right now, since it's your time. If you did not finish one of those assignments that we turned in today, if you want to finish that, turn it in today before you leave today, I'll take it. No late penalty. Like today at the end, when I leave today,
When I leave this classroom today, after that, it's late. But done in tassel, or if you're free time in another class to turn it into me, I take it. You happy with that? Which one? Keep checking. Better be done than completed. So, right.
I was just like, no. Just so much here. And then she called the whole time and she got something all shut in her face. Normal, I ended up boxing up in the store. I was like, but she's so cute.
Stay focused, guys. Y'all finish this up. We still got plenty of time to get it knocked out. Just so I know there's a couple questions. Here's the one that we did not do on the notes. If you want to just kind of see it, it looks like one of those on your assignment. First thing I would do, guys, I would take care of those right there. I would cancel those out. And this one on the notes, it was 4 and 1/2. 4 times 1/2, which is the same thing as 4 divided by 2, is just 2. That's why they canceled and made it at 2. I think on the assignment it's like 6 and 1/2 maybe? 6 and 1/2. Well, 6 divided by 2 is 3. So you would just distribute out your 3. But there's the example from the notes. If you want to see it, it's the same steps. Plug in and then order of operations. This is a great song. You see guys. Oh, and charging station. Charging station is up and running. Put your phone in. There's 6 options. There's 6 different plugs. So
I'm weak.
it's also the place if you're a jerk, I'm gonna take your phone up and put it over there. So don't do that.
My charger is terrible. What happened? That's cute. I gotta say that. That's cute. You were like good night. Now Chad's like, she's not going to bed. Coach Lawrence last week fun today. They're doing something like that.
Several people are getting to that point. I think on this, I'm going to go on the notes. I ended up with a 2 outside for, in this case, it's 10 times that. Distribute. I know it looks a little backwards. Distribute. 4 times 2 is 8. 2 times b is 2b. Now we can just subtract the 8 over 14 minus 8. That's where they got 6. And then left with 2b. Last step, divide by 2. Divide by 2. 6 divided by 2. On this one was 3. On your homework, I think that ended up being a 3. Does that make sense, Frazier?
I don't understand country music at all.
Now let's look and see if we can cross it. Let's see a 2 and an 18. Let's do that first. Cross up the 2, cross up the 18. That becomes a 1. How many times is 2 and 18? You see what I did? Because they just cancel each other out. Okay, now 15 and 5. You want those? Yep, so 1, 3, 4, 5, 3. Yeah, all those on bottom, so you have 1 on bottom. And then you have 1 times 3 times 9. 3 times 9. 27. Good?
Huh? I was trying to see what time it was.
Let's try this again here. Good. Yeah, so I think Coach Edwards set up his class very well. You know, as I talked to you in the pre-video, he basically laid his class out, and it's exactly how his class went, which to me that shows that Coach Edwards is doing a great job in preparation and his lesson planning, making sure he's on task and when he needs to be in certain places. And as administrator view, that's great. You know, you want to make sure your teachers are prepped, they're ready to go, they know what they're going to do, what day, they have these lessons planned out well. And that was good to see. When I walked in, his lesson was exactly like he told me it was going to be. He started out with a bell ringer, which he worked on previous day assignments, which he told me he likes to do that for a couple reasons. As I was in there, he kind of restated, not only does he like to, give them time to kind of finish up their homework, he likes to always make sure he has a couple of days, because Coach Edwards has what we call an MMA, or a math models and applications, which is it's for kids who've struggled with mathematics in the past, and it's really a chance for teachers to make sure that we can help those kids succeed that have problems in math. So he always likes to give them 2 days to work on assignments, because he's not always sure if homework's going to get done at night, family situation, whatever's taking place. He wants to make sure kids are going to be able to succeed and they're going to be able to get their stuff done. Not only does it help them get their assignments done and turned in, it refreshes what they were going to do from the day before. It reinforces what they did from the day before, and hopefully that carries over from lesson to lesson, and especially in a subject like math that really builds upon itself. You can't fall behind in any certain area. You have to continually build and make sure that it's going well. And I really like how he does the bell ring, because in the past I've used it as maybe to review things in the past or to prep for things in the future. But if you can work on an assignment one day, reinforce it the next, to me that's a big advantage. It's good. He then went into his lecture phase of his class, which was probably about 10 to 12 minutes. He didn't spend a lot of time lecturing, which is good. You don't ever want the teacher up there talking the entire classroom. From my point of view, you want to make sure you differentiate the instruction. And even though he's up there lecturing in the lecture phase, he doesn't always constantly up there just him talking. And I'll give you some examples of that. He went through basically in 3 to 5 minutes what the skills and the steps required to solve the order operations. He gives them an acronym for that. He shows them how they can do it. He shows them the steps which they have to take place. And if they don't follow the specific steps, then they're going to get the wrong. They may get an answer, but it's not going to be the right one. And then he gave the students multiple problems as he was up there, and showed them, after he showed them how to do it, and kind of went around and asked students, and then sometimes called upon students to help solve it. or basically for them to solve it for the class and for them to work through the steps and figure it out. And he was there to kind of guide them as it went along. Hey, you forgot to do this. That's right, but you forgot this step. Maybe you made a mistake here. But he really uses that time to, really guide the students through. So he's not constantly up there lecturing and them listening. It's more student-centered and student learning. Hey, how's this problem going to work and how we're going to fix this? Which is good. He really guides them through the problems and made sure there was plenty of wait time that he allowed for them to solve as much of the problem as they could without his help. Not asking them how to solve this. Okay, you just did this. They struggle for half a second. Bam! He wouldn't just jump right in and give the answer. Because not only was that student trying to solve it, all the rest of the students were as well. So he's trying to make sure that he can get the entire class ready to go for these problems. Once he finished his lecture portion of the class, he allowed the students some time to work on some practice problems within their small groups, which he doesn't have them. He doesn't have to put them in groups just because his class is already arranged. He has most of the desks are in groups of 2, and he has a couple of 3 groups in the back, but I think there's only 2. But it's mainly 2 groups of 2. And then he gives them practice problems to work through exactly what he just talked about. He actively monitors and goes around the room and makes sure they're on task, but he doesn't actually have to provide much assistance to the students, mainly for the fact that he does a really good job at laying it out for them very easily, very great way for them to understand. They've already basically got it before they go to practice problems, and they're in small groups, so there's a lot of peer tutoring that takes place, a lot of collaboration that takes place between these students where basically they work among themselves to figure the problems out. I only saw one time where a group actually calls Coach Edwards over because they were just totally stuck. He did a good job of making sure that they understood what was going on, and then at least gave, the majority of the group had the tools to solve every problem. The instructional strategies that he uses throughout, there weren't a lot that I saw, but some of the major ones were the problem-solving instruction, where he is working them through step by step to show how to solve the problems, and he does that for them in his lecture time. He does that for them first, laying it out step by step. You have to follow this step to this step. If you skip one, you're not going to get the right word. So we see a lot of problem-solving instruction. We also saw a lot of peer tutoring in the small group activities where they're solving their practice problems. We see differentiation of instruction throughout his class a lot. You see the individual work when the bell ringer, where they're working on the day before, but they're only working individually by themselves, not in a group. During his lecture portion, he does a great job. And what's really impressive to me is he has this technology that's set up where he has his iPad hooked up to the projector. He has a PDF version of the sheets that he gives each of his students before he starts the lecture. And then he's able to work through his problems on his iPad as he walks around the class, and that puts it up on the screen for the kids to see, which was really cool. It's a use of technology. It's really a lot better for me sitting in there as a visual learner. It's a lot different than him just standing up there working on the chalkboard. So that's a good differentiation of instruction through technology. He also has a lot of physical learning that takes place. They're physically solving the problems. They're working through it individually at the beginning. They're working through it as a group, but they're still physically writing all these problems down and having to solve most of the problems themselves physically. So we see a lot of good differentiation of instruction throughout his class time. To me, maybe the most important thing of the day that I saw was his student engagement is very, very high. And a couple of things I think really lend itself to this. One, he's a very energetic teacher. He spends a lot of, he just naturally has a energy that kind of exudes to students. He really also connects positively with students. You can see early on in class when they're going through the bell ringer, some students have forgot homework, have forgotten stuff they're supposed to bring. And he really talks to them and deals with them on a personal level. Makes a good, positive, personal connection. Hey, you forgot to do this. You screwed up. Listen, this isn't going to happen in the real world. He makes real life connections with mistakes they're making now. He kind of shows them, this is, if you get out in the real world, this is not how it's going to be. He makes a great connection with them. He's building that personal relationship with them, which is great. So every day the student engagement is incredibly high. That's something that went very well in his classroom. I really like the warm-up and how it reinforces the lesson from the day before. Not only does it give them some time to work on it for kids that maybe struggle in mathematics, but it's a reinforcement of what happened the day before. And I've never really used a bell ring for that, so I thought that went well. His management of his classroom was great. He kept the class well maintained, well focused, and always moving in a positive forward direction, which is good. But you can tell the kids really like Coach Edwards, and I think it's because they know that he generally cares about them and tries to build that positive relationship with him. I liked how he had a great grasp of his content area. There was no question he had that they couldn't answer. There was nothing that they were going to ask that he wasn't going to be able to give them an answer to. There was nothing they were going to ask that he wasn't going to be able to drive home and make sure that they understood in a positive way. He kept student involved. He didn't have to redirect him a lot, but he constantly was keeping students involved. He reinforces vocabulary throughout the lesson. You see if a student says something with an incorrect vocabulary, or maybe he's trying to push it more towards math-specific vocabulary, he's constantly reinforcing that with his student, which is good. Collaboration at the student tables I thought was phenomenal. He makes sure that he's with the collaboration, he's making sure his kids are learning, and they're motivated, and they want to come to class every day, which is, from an administrative point of view, you can't have anything more than kids that just want to come to class because they love their teacher and they know they're going to learn. He actively monitored his class the whole time, and he worked to build those positive relationships, which all were just phenomenal things I thought Coach Edwards did. If I was going to change anything from Coach Edwards' class, I thought he did a phenomenal job at his transition time from the bell ringer to the lecture to the activity time. I thought was slow, and I thought he might have lost some of his student engagement a little bit during that time. That was when I saw more of him trying to redirect the class, was through transition. So, my tip to him would be just to transition your class better, because you're going to lose kids while you're transitioning. I wasn't really surprised by any information that was revealed. I've known Coach Edwards for 2 to 3 years now. I know he's a phenomenal person. He cares about kids, and I know that he was going to have a great class, and that's exactly what I saw. I did, however, find this activity very surprising. I wouldn't have thought I would have got as much out of this as I did just sitting in a class and observing. As a teacher, we look at the classroom from a student perspective. How are we going to do this to make sure they're doing this? How are we going to make sure that we do this to make sure that they learn this or they get this concept? As the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm looking at what he's doing, how he's going through stuff, how he's setting this up. It was different totally for me of how I was looking at that, and something that not only am I going to carry out throughout my classroom this year, but it's probably going to help me greatly in my administrative duties. So it was a very valuable lesson to learn very on. So overall, a lot of stuff was learned, great stuff. Coach Edwards did a great job motivating and keeping his class learned. Phenomenal lesson.